back. Today, the 11th of February, marks the 8th UN-observed International Day for Women and Girls in Science. This year, the theme focuses on the role of women in science in relation to the contribution to Sustainable Development Goals. One initiative here at home is teaching children and women coding skills. Mamas for Coaching is an initiative by Tangible Africa, a partnership hub with the Nelson Mandela University's Computer Sciences Department, along with Leva Foundation and Youth Media Movement. The campaign is training about 100 women over the age of 50. For more on this, we're joined now by Felicia Abrams, Coding for Mamas Facilitator, Leva Foundation Operations Manager Jackson Chabalala, and Youth Media Movement Director Marshall Nelson. I'm going to start off with the rose amongst the thorns, as it were. Felicia Abrams, tell us more about how it's been going facilitating this coding development work with different women over 50.
Good morning. I'm Felicia Abrams. The Coding for Mamas project, it is certainly working in the Western Cape, and it is a program for mamas over 50 and upwards. The reason for this coding project is it's not implemented at schools yet. So what mamas do is, because the project is called Mamas for Coding, because they are looking after their grandkids or their children. Some grandkids, mamas working, and their grandparents must look after them. And now the child come home with a project. The child don't understand the project. The parent is not there. The parent is at work. So the mama is coming in and help the child with the project. So coding is like mathematics. It's like when you do mathematics, there's only four tokens that you can use. It's either multiply, a plus, a equals, and a multiplication. So in coding, it's either a backwards, a forwards, a left, or a right. So coding comes in, and it's similar like a computer, because some of the schools don't have computers at school. So coding is the near future program. And what I'm trying to say to mamas out there, make use of this program. Come on board and don't be shy. It's a game changer for a mama, because it's a lifetime opportunity. If you take it like that, it's at bringing the disadvantage into advantage, and especially in the disadvantaged communities in the Western Cape. Like we got a privilege now to implement it and to go out there and to teach our children on this age about coding, about how to work with a puzzle. It's like a puzzle. And for me, Mamas for Coding is a game changer. It's a lifetime opportunity, because you mustn't be shy to join it, because you work with different people, you work with different kids. And to me is some kids will take advantage of this opportunity because they don't have phones, they don't have computers at their places. So to me, Mamas for Coding is a very good project, and I'm on board totally for this project. So Mamas for Coding, it will start in your own home.
Yes.
And there's no age required where Mamas for Coding is concerned. There's no age required.
I mean, you certainly do get a sense of your enthusiasm and how much it sounds like you've gained from doing this coding. I mean, remarkable. I think you should come into studio and give me some guidance on the maths and science of coding. And I understand that the plan here is to reach up to 10,000 young people. Felicia Abrams, we're going to stop there for a moment with you. I'd like to bring Jackson Chabalala into the conversation now. Jackson, you're with the Leva Foundation as an operations manager. Talk about the operational sort of scheme at work here to really ensure the rollout of coding knowledge and skill from Mamas for Coding into broader communities.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And well, Tangible Africa is first an engagement project between Leva Foundation and Nelson Mandela University, striving to introduce learners to coding without the use of computers. So our project focuses on equipping learners with 21st century skills, and we believe that this is also a way to promote women in tech. We are working with AWS in communities to roll out coding for mamas in the Western Cape, as well as youth media movement that is directed by Marshall. And our ops side of this is very important, that our team on the ground are the ones who actually go out and build communities. We come with strategies, we come with ideas, but without the people on the ground, this wouldn't be possible. And most of those people on the ground, even for Tangible Africa, are women. Majority of our regional coordinators are women, and majority of our coding ambassadors are women. And we've seen them, when they take this on, they really do an incredible job. And even in our coding workshops and tournaments, we've observed that girl learners often perform better than their male counterparts. And we are trying to really create a space where we can promote women in tech, girls coding. And we have a few ideas of what we want to do throughout the year to do this, with the Netball World Cup coming to South Africa. We're looking at reskinning our apps so they can be relevant for that. We're working with a great organization. We started having talks with an organization that focuses on female education across Africa. They're in 34 countries. And all of that needs a team on the ground to make sure the checks are ticked, all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted. And so we've really been enjoying that. And we're trying to promote women coming into computer science and other kind of science tertiary degrees.
Thank you. You did raise Marshall Nelson there. Marshall, I'm going to bring you into this conversation now. Just give us a better sense of what your role is in this ongoing project and what the response has been like.
Greetings to all Newzroom Afrika family, and thanks to Jackson, the Leva Foundation, and to AWS and Communities, and the Prof. Jean Greiling and the team, and to yourself. So myself, Marshall Nelson, the Managing Director for the Youth Media Movement, we basically focus on 4IR, from drones to 3D printing and coding. And we are partners with Jackson, the Leva Foundation, where we assist from the young people to the Mamas Project to see how best we can. Basically, it's like spreading the gospel of coding and tangible coding, and how it is important for our people it is, so that they can use this to better themselves. Currently, right now, we are moving in AI. Many people don't understand how AI works, but if you understand that programming is actually the main part of AI, then it will make it easy for our people also to understand. Because when you tell someone that between a remote and a television, when you want to change a channel, there is actually programming taking place, they will tell you, no, it's a signal. So it's that kind of philosophy that we're trying to teach people, that is not really just a signal, it's a code. So that when you want to change up or down the channel, it's a code between that two that speaks. Yeah. So our aim is to promote and to make sure that we keep our communities that is not intact with these kinds of opportunities, but to spread it, because all thanks to people like Jackson and Prof. Jean Greiling.
And people like Felicia Abrams, who is now a facilitator. Felicia, let's come back to you as someone who represents Mamas for Coding. How long ago was it that you didn't even know what coding was, and how far have you come since?
A year ago, I did not know what was coding all about. But then when Nelson came in with a project, he invited mamas like myself and a few others to come and join in. I had to say this from my heart, that most of the mamas didn't know what was they in for, what were they coming in for. So when Marshall teach the first lesson, teacher George Charumni, when he teaches the first lesson, most of the mamas were excited, but they didn't know what was it all about. Obviously, I was one of the mamas that took it further and was interesting. And then they started showing us the puzzles, ranges and tanks. And obviously, I went home and I put my mind to it. And when I started the puzzle, the teaching went for 2 hours, but we didn't complete anything. So that was on a Thursday. The Saturday, I phoned into the office and let Marshall and Rafika know that I completed the whole Ranger puzzle out of myself. Wow. So in 4 days' time, I complete ranges, the difficult one, up till the level 30. And in 4 days' time, that was from the Thursday, the Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday, I phoned in to say I completed, what must I do now? So then I go to the next one, thanks. And when I put thanks together, because you must look at your phone and the grids on your phone and how much tokens you have in front of you. And it's like a robot. It's either you move left, right, and the blocks. If you take you can even start coding in your own home.
Wow.
At your tiles. Do it in your tiles. You move forward, how many blocks, what does your phone say? And when I decided to do that, then I didn't know I was like the first one who completed the puzzle because there were so many ladies, so many women. And then at the second round of the teaching, it was in Portland's Indoor Center. So then there I discovered there's so many mamas there, but none of them misunderstood what the project is all about.
Yes. You certainly get a sense of you taking to it like a duck to water. Felicia Abrams, I'm sorry to say we are running short on time, but it really sounds like an incredible project, and perhaps we can get someone from the Newzroom Afrika team to come and join you, student turned teacher and facilitator, and maybe speak to some of the mamas for coding as well on what you've been up to. Just as we close off, you know, you've mentioned the kind of communities that you and the mamas are working in, places like Philippi, Mitchell's Plain, and just give us a sense of really the environment in which this learning and this coding knowledge development is taking place. Quick sticks.
To me, Coding for Mama is it's going forward. I can say that because I went around to schools and I'm going to be employed by one of the schools in Mitchell's Plain now. I must go Wednesday and I must go for 2 hours by Harvester Primary School. And I need to go into the class to give a 2-hour lesson there about coding. So to me, that is a privilege step number 1. So it just shows that there is most of the teachers that knows about coding, but they don't know what it's all about. So I need to go in, step in there and go to a classroom and explain to the kids what it's all about, make them in groups, make them understand what is coding about. It's not about, coding is like, you must explain to the kids, coding is about mindset. It's your mindset. It stimulates your mind.
Yes.
So to me is, yes, that is the first foot forward. So it's going to be implemented because I was attending a lot of schools already. I'm just waiting for results to come back. So, yeah.
Well, we wish you all the best with that, Felicia Abrams. One example of women in science with a focus on coding as we recognize this day for the 8th time. All the best to you as you take your learning and your teaching forward. And thank all 3 of you for your time this morning on Newzroom Afrika, Channel 405.